Hey guys, it's Eddie, and today I am back with yet another movie review for you all. Now, today's movie that I'll be reviewing is requested of me by someone on Tumblr, and I'm really happy to be reviewing it because it is one of my favourite teen movies. It's a teen movie with a twist, and the twist is it's got a sort of really cool injection of sort of thriller horror. And if you haven't guessed what I'm talking about yet, it is, of course, Joel Schumacher's The Lost Boys, starring Kiefer Sutherland, Jason Patric, Corey Haim, Jamie Gertz, and Diane Wiest. Now, this film centres around Michael, played by Jason Patric, and his little brother, played by Corey Haim, and they are moving with their mother to Northern California. And the town that they decide to move to, they find out has an unreasonably high murder rate. It is the murder capital of the world, as they deem it. And they start to find out, or Michael starts to find out, why that is. And the reason for that is the number of vampires residing in the town. And of course, Michael goes through this inner struggle when he comes across these vampires, this really cool gang of vampires, I must say, of whether to join them. And it follows his sort of inner struggle and that sort of peer pressure of being told to join a vampire coven. It's a really interesting plot. Now, Joel Schumacher follows St. Elmo's Fire with this sort of horror teen film. I mean, he's still staying with that teen genre, but he brings that innovative freshness of the teen genre into the classic vampire thriller sort of area of film, because by this point vampire films have been done and dusted, and so placing that theme within a teen film was really a sort of new avenue to go down, especially on such a scale because of its popularity. So it does really bring a cool sort of quirky teen zest to the otherwise kind of tired vampire horror genre. Now, it has a fantastic cast that slot wonderfully into their roles. They provide, a really quirky element to it. For example, Diane Wiest as the mother and Corey Haim as the wonderfully hilarious younger brother. One of my favourite moments is his reaction to discovering that his brother is, on his way to becoming a vampire. It just provides one of the funniest moments in the film, and it just goes to show what a standout young actor he was at the time, and he really does steal it. I do feel as though he steals it from the main part, Jason Patric. He just has this wonderful energy about him, and for someone at such a young age at the time, it's really wonderful to watch, and he provides some of the best moments in the film. Another standout for me is Kiefer Sutherland as David. He is undeniably cool with his, bleach blonde mullet. He's mysterious, he's intriguing, and he has this real enigmatic charm about him that draws you in, as it does with the film's lead, Jason Patric, who, as I said, he fits well in the role. But my problem with Jason Patric as Michael is that he's somewhat forgettable in comparison to the other characters. I'm not saying his performance is bad. I feel like he does what he needs to be done, which is fine. But I feel like his surrounding cast, Kiefer, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman as well, as one of the very weird but very funny Frog brothers, they are just much more interesting to me. That's my personal opinion. Yours might differ. You might think that Michael and Jason Patric as Michael is the best thing since sliced bread, but I just personally find the characters surrounding him much more intriguing, and I find their performances just a little bit better, to be honest. But he does what needs to be done. You're able to follow him in that lead role, and you're able to sort of connect with his inner struggle of becoming a vampire. And despite the sort of supernatural nature of that, he does provide you with, you know, a connection to the film. He's just a little bit boring to me at times. I think this film really is the fantastic mix of comedy and shocking horror, which does take you by surprise. And it has, you know, there are moments in the film, I won't give too much away, but I'll just say the sort of campfire scene which Michael is held witness to. Um, they provide some really gory effects, which are very few and far between within this film. Joel Schumacher very cleverly alludes to all the vampire killings that are happening, but doesn't really show them that much until a certain sort of very tense point within the film. And but even though these effects are rather shocking and you get to see the brutality of these vampires and you get to see how, grotesque their killings are, it's still sort of not too much in your face. It's still sort of, there's a very cleverly cast light that is, it's kind of in darkness and you can't see absolutely everything. It's very quickly cut. There's lots of flashes. So what you do see is sort of imprinted on your eyelids, but it's not enough for you to be totally, grossed out and that kind of thing. And I think that is very clever. And it doesn't detract from the movie or the tone of the movie too much, because it is still a teen film. And so to go, full blown gore in the middle of the film, which had been up until that point pretty tame, would feel, kind of out of place. But Joel Schumacher still, reins it in and makes it kind of elusive, which is really, really cool, and I like that about it. What I also like about this film is probably because I just love 80s films in general, and with an 80s film you're always guaranteed a good soundtrack, and The Lost Boys is no different. So it has this amazing adrenaline inducing soundtrack with, that really cool synth 80s fever injected into it, and the songs that are put onto the soundtrack are super cool. My favourite is Lost in the Shadows, which is played over the motorbike scene. Anyone who's seen the film will know what I'm talking about. Someone who hasn't yet seen it will be like, what the hell is she saying? But it just fits perfectly in with that, experience that Michael is going through for the first time. And I think the title sort of introductory track, Cry Little Sister, is awesome as well. I think it just sets the tone for the movie so well. It's so mysterious. It's so cool. And I think that's what is great about this film. It's just really, really cool. And I think for teens in the 80s, this must have been an absolute revolution. I mean, I love horror with anything. So for the, there have been slashers before this. There have been, your teen slashers like Sleepaway Camp and that kind of thing. But this is a really well-made, very cool, very sort of mysterious vampire horror flick that is situated within the teen genre. And it's incredibly fun to watch, and it's not just one of those films that's like a teen film and it's good because it's like cheesy or something ridiculous. It's genuinely like well made, and the performances are excellent, and it does have a rather gripping ending and climax, which is, it keeps you really gripped. And even though there are some hilarious moments, there are some very tense ones as well. So I think that Joel Schumacher really gets the balance right with this film. It's, it's thrilling and it's very funny at the same time. And I think that's hard to do. But I think that perfect balance between horror and, typical teen, like themes of a teen film, are just inspired and work incredibly well for this film. So the only thing I would say really is that, yes, I don't find the character of Michael particularly intriguing. I don't find Jason Patric as intriguing as I find Kiefer Sutherland's character or Corey Haim's character or Corey Feldman's character. They just outshine him for me. But you know, the villain and the supporting cast can often shine the lead, and I think this is just one of the cases where that happened for me. Of course, my opinion isn't gospel and shouldn't be taken as such. You might think differently when you watch the film, for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, but that is just my opinion. I think, yes, there's just a fantastic ending, you know, fantastic themes throughout the film, and you know, everything really fits into place, but you're still transported back to that classic 80s scene despite the supernatural element of the film, and I like that. I find it incredibly enjoyable. So it's just one of those films that I'll be returning to again and again. I have done anyway, but I can't see myself ever really letting go of it in the future. I just think it's one of those films that you watch and it sticks with you, especially if you watch it in your teens, because you know, I did, and it was very it was very fun, and I think that's what this film is. It's fun, but it's well directed, well made, and it's got fantastic elements of comedy and horror in it. So I think I'd have to give this film probably 4 out of 5 stars if I had to give it, you know, a rating. I mean, is it perfect? Is it outstanding? No, but it's really one that you can just watch over and over again, and it'll make you laugh, and it will just become one of your personal favorites, I feel, if you get into it enough. And I think it's just one of those films that can appeal to everyone because it's got qualities throughout it that are attractive to a whole range of people. So the comedy and the gore, and neither one outbalances in the other enough for it to be totally off-putting to another kind of audience. So yeah, I really, really like this film. I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. I hope that it did what you asked, Anna on Tumblr. But yes, for anyone who wants to suggest movies for me to review, you can just message me on my Tumblr or request by commenting down below. But that is it for now. Hope you guys have enjoyed this review, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!